Yes, folks, it is me again, Mr. B, and it has been promised, and it is now here. My take on Jamaica's march towards the 2025 general elections. Yes, people, this is generally one of the most divisive times in the social side of Jamaica, well, social and political side. Um, General elections. Of course, the country basically divided in a two, what I love to tease and call them the two political gangs that control the country. And of course, we're talking about none other than the People's National Party and the Jamaica Labour Party, led by the two protagonists that you see there on the screen. Mark Golding, the Labourite, them christen him Marky British, and of course you have um, the Prime Minister Andrew Holness and some of the PNP man them refer to him as the Mr. Nose. No, I mean, no disrespect meant either way. But the fact is, Jamaica is heading towards election, constitutionally due by September of 2025. And, when one looks at, where we are, the truth is that Jamaica has essentially been enjoying peaceful, national elections for the past, I would say, the last 3.5, 4 decades. So there's, but the country is still divided along hard political line. You're either Labour right or JLP. So all a man like me, worse if me ever talk against one side or the other. The man them brand me with a hot iron, say me out either this or me or that. But it not really matter to me. We are put information out on the table, and so that's what we think. So it is my view that with this election there are some issues. The country has had some a mixed bag, if you will, and so it is against the background of this mixed bag that we want to look at what the potential is, one side or the other. Now, keep in mind that the JLP as government has been enjoying a tremendous run for a while. From I would say from as far back as 2018, 2019, the JLP had been having a good run with the PNP, Mark Golden, kind of lie down in the gutter where couldn't get above 20% in terms of favorability. Current estimates, well, Don Anderson, the great Jamaican pollster, now have the differential between the PNP and the JLP, that Golden leads leads Holness by just above 9 points. 9 points mean that you're outside of the margin of error, which is 3%, which is giving Golden a favorable advantage in terms of winning this election. But there are some issues, and so we want to take the discussion. The Prime Minister is the man who is in charge of the thing, and so the results of the country. Him is the managing director of the country, if we were to look at it from a business standpoint. And the question one want to ask yourself is, what has his stewardship been? There are several touch areas. We're going to touch on them. Crime is one. Then, of course, there is the economy. There is the issues of unemployment, and how that is playing out in respect of the population. And, of course, we want to look at the prospects for the economy going down the road. Now, in 2016, Holness made a statement to Jamaica as he was seeking Jamaica House. And he said, I may quote him, if we become the government, right, the JLP becomes the government, Jamaican people can sleep with them door and window open. People may say that a politics talk and thing, but the fact is that a way of said, and you can't think. Now, in 2016, the JLP won Jamaica House. And between 2016 to 2024, and when people talk about crime in Jamaica, you're really talking about the murder rate, right? Jamaica recorded murders in the 5 years of the previous PNP administration of, on an average, 1,130 murders per year from 2011 to 2015. Aggregated 5,650 Jamaicans were murdered over that period, producing a murder rate of some 37 or 38 murders per 100,000 of the Jamaican population. So the JLP take over the thing, and in 2016, when they took over, they finished the year with a murder tally of 1,354 murders. Overall, between 2016 and the end of 2024, and I'm only giving murder statistics in Jamaica for 2024 up to the end of November, where at the end of November we were recording something like 1,098 murders year to date, January to the end of November. The estimate is that we finished the year, because they haven't finalized those numbers, at about just a little above 1,180 murders for the year. But between 2016 and 2024, Jamaicans murdered 12,408 members of the population at an average of 1,379 murders per annum. That is more than 200 murders per year, more than what had been experienced under the People's National Party. Me just give you the statistics, so they can be the judge. The bottom line is the Prime Minister is quick to tell you about all of the issues of crime. In fact, he would love to say that the murder rate, or the crime rate, and by the crime rate we're talking about the murder rate, has been dropping, and that is true. In the last 3 years, the murder rate, well, in 2022, where the murder rate was at its peak, it was up to 1,498 murders in 2023. In 2024, 2022, it was 1,400. It dropped to 1,393, which is just about 100 less, and it dropped again. We anticipate that the murder rate is going to drop to about 1,200 murders for 2024. And so, yeah, less people dying. And people, the Prime Minister, love to jump on it and say the trend is. That is not a trend. A trend has to be calculated on at more than 5 years. 5 years or more for you to. So you have to be seeing this reduction over a 5-year period for you to say that there is a trend in terms of a reduction in murder. Yes, there are a couple less people have died over the last 2 years than in the previous years, but not enough yet to consider a trend. The other thing is, for you to see that trend, it has to say that something is happening that is preventing or providing an alternative to people having to take another person's life. In other words, some other factors have to be at play in the Jamaican space, and there is nothing to show that. Yes, we're seeing maybe some of it is policing, but the circumstances that is providing for this high rate of murders has not changed. And so, Holness have to take that kind of lick, because that's how him said, and he has not proven anything. In the way, so crime is a major, major problem in Jamaica. Still is. Is it safe to live and work in Jamaica? Would I live in Jamaica in the current circumstances? No, because me afraid. Me too old now if I walk around with a gun, and walking around with a gun in your waist don't prevent you from being murdered. So let's move along. Now, in terms of the economy, and you have to give credit, yes, the economic indicators suggest, and we'll take some topics here quick. The the Jamaica's debt to GDP ratio continues to decline. Um, Very good development. And so, because that provide more funds to work within the economic space. The debt to GDP ratio at the end of, I think, end of last year looks like somewhere around 68%. So it means that more money is going to be available to deal with projects that the government had been kind of taking them eye off because the argument has been, we're not the money. The problem is the and people love to jump and say, oh, the country's prosperity. The question you ask yourself, prosperity for who? The Jamaicans, more than 46% of Jamaicans earn just a little over 15,000 Jamaican dollars per week, or less than 100 US dollars a week. You can't run a successful economy with that kind of paltry wage rate. And so these wage levels, low wages, characterize the Jamaican economic space. In a consuming economy, if people don't have money to spend, you can't talk about economic growth. In fact, the Jamaica's economy has not grown over the last 30, 40 years. We could have preached like John the Baptist. Those are the facts. 1% and 1.5% and 2% economic growth is not growth, because you have to measure that against inflation. And Jamaica's inflation rate closed last year at just about 6%. The Bank of Jamaica is at pains trying to talk down the inflation, but the reality is that inflation has stood at about 6%, better than where it was coming from, and so you have a slower rate of price increases and the depreciation of income. But the fact is, the country ain't producing jack shit. So the growth isn't there, and by extension, the defense of the exchange rate. Bank of Jamaica will jump up and boast. Richard Biles, in an address to as governor of Jamaica, Bank of Jamaica, to the monetary policy, he issued a monetary policy press statement in November of 2024, where we spoke to those issues. He talked about the rate of growth, or the slow growth, and in fact, what came out of the discussion, and I see in a Jamaica Observer news release, is that the Jamaican economy contracted in the third quarter, and the contraction was expected to continue into the last quarter. It showed a contraction of 3.5% in the third quarter of the year, and if that contraction continues into the final quarter, we don't get the results yet. The expectations are that it will continue into the January to March 2025 quarter. So it means that the Holness administration is looking down the pipe in respect of this. In fact, Don Anderson, in an address to, I think it was the Rotary Club of St. Andrew in mid-December, talked about the issue of the standing with the polls, the economy, and the contraction of the Jamaican economy. And he basically says there are some serious headwinds that Jamaica is going to have to deal with. And of course, against the background, Holness is looking at a 9% difference between himself and Golden, right? This graph here, this chart here shows basically a 3.5% difference, but that has now widened to 9%. 9 points difference between Golding and Holness, with the 9 points is Golding having 9 points to the good of Andrew Holness. So these are it means that some serious things are going to happen for the Holness administration to recover. Everybody who are Labour right want the JLP to have a third term, and according to the pundits, the headwinds look like it against that. But me not call no side, me just provide the information. And so the other part of the economy, we talk about the debt to GDP ratio, 68% good. The fact though is that because we now produce nothing, the exchange rate is hovering at about 160 to 1. The Jamaican exchange rate with the US dollar has depreciated consistently over the last 5 or so years. In fact, when we look at where we're coming from, 130 odd, we're now 160 odd, and we don't have the productivity to show for it. Tourism, which is, as far as the Jamaican economy is concerned, built around that, there are some not so positive winds coming. We see, industrial action amongst hotel workers. We see where hotels are understaffed, the young people not willing to go work for bus fare, as they put it. And of course, while the government love to tell you that unemployment is at its lowest level of 3 to 4% in Jamaica, what they're not telling you is that some 830,000 Jamaicans are not counted in the labor force. So you do the math, and I am not no big economics brains, but you go to school, yes, but in any language, that's what you call fululup's economics. Because if 800,000 people out of your workforce is not being accounted for, them unemployed, and don't tell me that because them now look no work, it's not impacting or it shouldn't be impacting the unemployment rate. So those are some of the factors. But again, these are the big headwinds. The young people in Jamaica don't believe that they have a space. Most people basically look for an opportunity for flash because they can't make it in Jamaica. Those who the idea is that if you want to live, work, and raise your family, you can't buy a house. You can't buy a house for $15,000 a week. And there is very little opportunity there to increase these wages. Even though the stock market, the company on the stock market, love jump up and tell you, oh, they're doing well. The reality is that these companies, the executives are making big money. But the rank and file workers, the one them who carry the brunt of the work, them now say nothing. And if these people are not earning, you can't consume. Jamaica is a consumer-based economy. We are also a service economy. And if you're not providing incentives to pull people in, better wages, better working conditions, better academic opportunities through the school system, we're not saying nothing. And it is because of that why we have this proliferation of gangsterism. The youth, them basically say, them willing to take them chance with them, if we go turn shatter, if we go turn scammer, right? And so what we have is a pile of young people, particularly men, who not now go on for them, and them basically feel, them more and more willing to take them chance, go a street and go fire a gun. I'm just putting it out there. I'm not take no side. The bottom line is, it's election year, and it is going to be a big challenge for the current administration to hold the reins for a third term. That is what the desire of all labor rights is. The PNP man them on the other side want to introduce themselves as a spoiler. And so, I am going to be providing this kind of feedback from time to time. I know this is a slightly little longish video, but enough things to say. So here what I want you do. If you like the video, hit the like button. If you have any feedback, give me a comment. I don't care what the comment is. But put your comment in the comment section. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, do that. So that when my commentary drop, you're gonna be the first one to get it. Until then, folks, as we said, election year, what is your call? Make we get your feedback on that one. And until the next video drop, subscribe to the channel, share with your friend them. More time.